First up, more on today's top stories. We're joined by Sky News host and National Affairs editor, and now also, we're told, opinion editor for the Daily Telegraph, James Morrow, and Sky News' political reporter, Cam Reddin, who looked after us there. Gentlemen, welcome. James, can we start with that Combe speech to the Press Club yesterday and what I had to say about it at the start of the show? Am I reading too much into that Combe speech?
Well, no, I don't think you are, because if you look at what's happening here with a lot of the talk around the green transition, the net zero thing, the renewables race, all of this, people who are sharpening their pencils and doing the numbers on it are realizing that this simply isn't going to wind up providing the same sort of economic opportunities for people that the fossil fuel economy did, the economy that we've had up until now has done. Greg Combe is not the only one to say this. Jenny George, the former head of the ACTU, she's been scathing on this lately, saying that, this is very much about, getting to net zero, but that a lot of people are going to wind up being left behind by this transition. How they wind up selling this in places like Hunter and other places like that, I have no idea, but this whole idea that they're saving the planet, but, so who cares about the jobs? This isn't going to wash politically.
Yeah, on the politics of it, Cam, the battle line's obviously been drawn pretty early for this election. I think the smart people, Dutton and his team, Ted O'Brien and others, they're going to dangle a prospect of modern nuclear in existing coal towns. Now, as James and I were just saying, how'd you be in one of those coal towns tonight? You go to the pub on the way home and you say, did you hear that bloke yesterday who used to run the union movement saying that we might get jobs in the solar farm, but we're not going to get paid as much? I mean, how politically is Labor going to sell that?
Well, this is an answer, Steve, as you mentioned, that Peter Dutton is now trying to provide as the coalition brings together the energy policy it will take to the next election. He's now talking about this transition, not just for coal stations becoming potentially nuclear power stations, but also for entire communities to transition. There's been suggestions of assisting workers around coal stations to find jobs as part of this transition towards nuclear that the coalition is putting together, about transforming whole communities so that you don't see people leave, and all the other businesses that pop up around communities that are centred around the coal industry. So there is some electoral ground to be made here, and the coalition is trying to make that case in those seats like Hunter and in the Hunter region, which is still relatively marginal and up for grabs at the next election. So that's part of the conversation that Peter Dutton is really hammering in on. And you're right, Steve, you talk about crossing the Rubicon and looking for a genuine policy divide between the two major parties. This is absolutely up there.